Hi everybody, I am Dr. Gurmin. I would like to talk about what actually motivated and inspired me to pursue a PhD. Okay, I actually have a bachelor's in the field of biochemistry and have a master's in the field of public health and have a PhD in the field of environmental engineering. Okay, let me share a little bit of background about myself. When I was a child, I very much loved the field of environmental health. I loved to cut articles from the newspapers and magazine about ozone depletion, climate change, about greenhouse gases, about water pollution, and things like that. Things pertaining to environmental health and environmental science. Um, and when I got my first job, it happened to be environmental health engineering. So that was my first official job, and it was at a state health department, and I was actually very lucky because I get something in which I'm very very passionate about. So, uh, what actually made me pursue a master's and what made me pursue a PhD? I had lovely bosses actually who really motivated me all the way. Yes, I when each year of my working life, I was very determined. I took up every opportunity to investigate and to learn how much I could. And after traveling very far from KL to Seremban, I used to come back home and open up books to study more in this field, to learn more things. And this field of work is very, very engineering because I used to go to water treatment plants to investigate water quality. We have water quality data which we used to monitor, and we needed to understand the science and the engineering behind this. So my colleagues were all from the public health field. My some of my seniors were from these science officers, and I had bosses who were engineers. At the state level itself, my bosses were public health specialists, and my colleagues were from various public health fields. So everyone was very very encouraging and motivating, and they gave me a lot of tips on working life, and I really learned a lot. I had a very colleague, an office colleague who was had a lot of awards and medals, and she inspired me a lot. So she was monitoring food quality. So she used to give me a lot of interesting motivation, and then my other colleagues were public health specialists around me too. So I really learned a lot from them. And my every month I would go to headquarters where there are a lot of engineers to actually learn about things whenever I did not understand something and I wanted to go deeper and understand when I based on my work in the water quality water treatment plants. I wanted to learn more. It's all very very engineering. So once a month I would go down to the headquarters to learn from them. I will ask a lot of questions and they will open up engineering books to teach me. So, from a person with science background, I worked very hard to learn engineering. So, I'm glad that I managed to, learn a lot of things in the field of engineering. And later on, I went on to pursuing a PhD. So, again, my bosses played an important role to motivate me every now and then, and they saw my capabilities. And this is lovely, to have this kind of people around you, your colleagues, your bosses, who really themselves are very professional in their work and they lead you to a beautiful path. So I want to share what actually made it happen. I want to relate with a bit of with the law of attraction. So something that really helped me achieve a PhD. Whenever I was young, when in my early career days, I took part in a International Water Association, and I paid on my own subscription fees, and I participated on my own some conferences. I went overseas to attend some conferences, and I met a lot of people who are PhD holders. They will give talks, and I put my mind, heart, and soul in observing them, their character, and I used to dream that one day I will be in their place. So that's what really really inspired me. It's law of attraction. So I attended many talks, and I would be very hardworking and listen to a lot of international talks I used to participate physically. That time there was no online, yeah. No such thing as online. I paid money and I went overseas and I actually attended these conferences on my own to listen to talks. So I really learned a lot from these people, and I had bosses who encouraged me. And after pursuing my masters, I went on to pursuing my PhD. It wasn't easy. I had to battle with applying for scholarships, scholarship after scholarship. And then finally, because I had a lot of I had some offers from tenured professors to pursue my PhD. I later approached them, and my professor introduced me to another professor who was from the Malaysia Japan International Institute of Technology in UTM, and I applied the scholarship over there. So that was again very, very competitive. But I also received some. So I received some partial scholarship, but I was lucky because in MGIIT there are a lot of Japanese professors. They have a MOU with Japan, and my Japanese professors over there connected me with a Japanese professor in Japan, who was a WHO expert. He's a tenured professor, but close to retirement. So he looked at my capabilities and my talents, and I shared with him my journey of applying for scholarships. I shared with him all my story about my determination, my passion in this field, and what kind of work I have done, my investigation. So he looked at very deeply into my work, and he offered me a scholarship to actually pursue my experimental work in Japan. So I looked at a technology. I investigated and developed experiments in that technology. So my PhD started because of that. Good leadership, good bosses, good colleagues, everyone encouraged me and my passion in this field. So most importantly, it's law of attraction. Talented people around me made me be more talented. Yes, that's the most important thing. I looked at talented people all over the world and even in my own place, and it really helped me to achieve this. So this was my journey. It wasn't that easy, but it did happen. So this is my journey of how I achieved a PhD. By looking at other people who have a PhD, having a vision, I always wanted to do better, day by day, be better. And a PhD is a journey that's to give you the skills to pursue more research into this field. So it's not a something that, oh, I'm great already, I have a PhD. No, it is a start to do more research work. So that's what a PhD is about. And this is my story about what motivated me to have a PhD. Thank you so much. I will hopefully share more topics in my next talks. Thank you so much.